I think we should start with the session.
Sure.
Okay. So good afternoon, everyone. I hope all of you are doing well. I am Ashka Singh, a student guide at the Career Council SCS, and I welcome you all to this highly anticipated session where all your doubts regarding data science and analytics will be cleared, allowing you to shape your future the way you desire. Before proceeding with the session, let me briefly introduce you to the Career Council. Here at the Career Council, we guide students and help them shape their careers through various initiatives, including acing placements, acing internships, intern diaries, placement diaries, career boot camps, and Ask Me Anything sessions, also known as AMA sessions. And today's session is yet another AMA session. And to guide us through it, we have Mr. Ashwini Jain. He is an alumnus of IIT Bombay and Purdue University with expertise in data science, computational science, and global supply chain management. He has a proven track record of leading data science projects for Fortune 500 companies and government bodies in the US. He has also been recognized on global platforms like Microsoft conferences and academic institutions in India and the US. Beyond his professional achievements, Mr. Jain is passionate about empowering others. He has guided over 5,000 aspiring data scientists and assisted more than 2,000 students with international education, earning him a spot on the prestigious Forbes Asia 30 Under 30 list. A very warm welcome, sir. We are delighted to have you here, and I would now like to hand over the control to you to proceed with the session.
Thank you, Ashka. Thank you so much. And thank you everyone for joining today. Blessed to be here, and interacting with you guys. So first of all, I would like to make this session as interactive as possible, right? Okay. And so nobody will be judging you if you are, giving wrong answers as well, right? So please feel free to unmute yourself or please feel free to, chat also. Okay. When I'm asking some questions, right? So what we will do is basically, first of all, in the first 30 minutes, I will be, sharing presentation with you guys. Okay. And then next 20-30 minutes, we can have a, Q&A session as well. Right. So this is how we will be dividing this entire session. So let's make the best out of this. Can you see my screen now?
Yes, sir, it's visible.
Okay. So first of all, the purpose here today is we all have gathered to know about data science, right? Okay. And especially when I'm talking about data science, I'm talking about data science without programming, right? So I'm sure most of you are, from non-computer science background, and you must be having this pitch or, this question in your mind that, okay, hey, data science is a very, like lucrative field actually, right? And how can we become a data scientist, right? But we don't know any programming, correct? I mean, then how actually we can enter into this domain, right? So this is, exactly what I'm going to talk about today. So this is about my journey. So I graduated from IIT Bombay in 2015, then got into got into Purdue University with full funding and graduated in 2017. After that, I joined a company in the US doing almost $500 million of revenue. And then soon I became a data science manager also in 2018. 2019, I used to get invited by Microsoft in multiple conferences. They used to have multiple conferences all over the world, and I used to go as a speaker also. And then at the same time, I joined a big consulting firm and I was guiding Fortune 500 companies and government clients also. So that's where I was guiding multiple billion-dollar plus clients. 2021, I moved back to India and raised almost $1.5 million for my venture in the study abroad domain. And now I'm basically, like heading another Canadian company as well. I've been blessed to share my knowledge with Microsoft, Purdue University, Indiana University, University of Florida, IIT Bombay, IIT Madras. These are the academic institutions where they have been where I have been invited as a speaker and share my knowledge as well. Just to give an idea, some of my clients are, in the domain of for example, ports. Just like in India, we have Adani Port, we have IRCTC, we have NHAI, right? Similar type of clients. Basically, I had in the US also. So, for example, Port of Miami was one of my clients. CSX Railway, which is one of the biggest railway companies in the world, right? Okay, after IRCTC is one of my clients as well, right? So cities, for example, we have, like city of Mumbai, city of Bangalore, city of, like Banaras also. Those type of cities also were my clients as well. Real estate companies, governments also, right? Okay, so these were all my clients. So in today's session, basically, let me be very, very clear, crystal clear. I'm not going to teach any mathematical theory. I'm not going to teach any programming or any software or any algorithm, right? I'm going to talk only about the practical applications and, about how to build a career, right? Okay, without programming. And in want to make this interactive as much as possible, right? Okay. So first of all, can anybody tell me this scene belongs to a movie. Can anybody tell me the name of this movie?
Three Idiot.
Three Idiots, right? Okay. And what is Amir Khan trying to tell in this particular picture or in this particular scene? Please unmute yourself.
Machine, definition of machine.
Okay. Zip is a machine, yes, right? But what's the uh simple machine? But what's the like message basically behind this? What is the message that Amir Khan is trying to give? Practical knowledge. Okay. More. Guys, nobody is going to judge you. Even if you give wrong answers, okay, that's completely fine. Marks नहीं मिल रहे यहाँ पर, ठीक है? Marks कट भी नहीं होगी, negative marking नहीं है, ठीक है? चीजों को समझो, रटो मत. Yes, exactly. Correct. Simplicity in complex things. Yes, nice answers. Okay, awesome. Yeah, we got some good answers. Yes, you all are correct. So the whole point is, see, just like Amir Khan is trying to tell, right? Okay, in this particular scene that रट्टा मत मारो, चीजों को समझो, सिंपल भाषा के अंदर समझो, right? Okay, similarly in the data science also, unfortunately, the problem is, a lot of people are basically have made a big buzz, right? Okay, and they all are saying that okay, data science is very complex and this and that, right? Okay, but to be honest, data science is not a complex domain. I'm a civil engineer. If I can become a data scientist, then that means you also can become a data scientist, right? Okay. So in this again session, I will tell you, a path how to become a data scientist, number one, and number two, I want to make this session interactive as much as possible. So please, I will be asking a lot of questions. So please unmute yourself and, answer. Okay, answer those questions. Okay. So some of the questions that I will be covering is most of you might be having this question that, hey, I don't know programming. I'm from, civil engineering, mechanical engineering, or, aerospace or metallurgy or whatever domains, right? Okay, there are multiple domains, but can I still become a data scientist, right? Okay. Do I need to have a computer science degree to become a data scientist? Absolutely no. You can have any degree, okay, and still you can become a data scientist, right? You must be having this question, Kiar. आज तो चलेगा चलो ठीक है but what will be my career options, right? Okay, that again we will cover later on. Again, इंडिया में अपॉर्चुनिटी है क्या डेटा साइंटिस्ट की, राइट? ओके, क्या कितना चलता है डेटा साइंस इंडिया के अंदर? शुड आई pursue my career in abroad or should I pursue my career in India, right? Okay, that's also we will cover. Again, next question is, do I need to have a domain knowledge to become a data scientist? Absolutely, 100%, right? We will cover later on actually about this. Next is, अब अपन क्या होता है, बहुत सारे लोग क्या होते हैं कि अपन आर और पाइथन पढ़ लेते हैं, मतलब ऐसा कोर्सेरा पर फ्री कोर्स मिल रहा है, चलो भाई पढ़ लो डेटा साइंस का आर और पाइथन, राइट? देन अगेन क्वेश्चन इज कि यार पढ़ तो लिया बट डेटा साइंटिस्ट कहाँ से बने, मतलब ऐसा है, राइट? ओके, व्हाट आर द मिस्टेक्स वी आर मेकिंग? अगेन you must be having here, do I need to learn R and Python? How much do I need to learn R and Python, right? The answer is zero. You don't need to learn R and Python. It is not necessary, to be honest, right? Next is, if I enter into data science domain right now, then can I still switch my domain later on after 10 years or after 15 years if I need to switch my domain, or after 5 years if I need to switch my domain? Absolutely yes, right? So these are some questions we will be covering today, right? And once the session will be over, we will have a Q&A session as well. So let me first of all let me tell you what is data science, right? Okay, so we will understand this particular term. Okay, so data science is made of two terms, right? Data and science, right? अब मेरे को तुम बताओ, everyone basically, right? Okay, what do you mean by data? Okay, please unmute yourself or please feel free to write it in chat. What do you mean by data? Simple words. आमिर खान की language में what do you mean by data? चतुर नहीं बनना अपन को. Information, okay.
Information.
नहीं, और आमिर खान की लैंग्वेज में
collection of raw information.
collection of raw information. Okay, still not. डेफिनेशन मत दो मेरे को यार, सिंपल भाषा में, सिंपल लैंग्वेज में समझाओ। बोलो यार। Details of something. Okay. Still a somewhat good
See,
answer.
if there is in any shop, we have a product list, then this is data type.
Sorry, your voice is not clear. Can you repeat, please?
In any grocery shop, we have a product list. This is data.
Okay, any product list that you're saying, any product list is data. Somebody is saying that any information by which we can extract some inferences, list of information, still not close actually. Last week I had a session in BIT Mesra. They gave very, very good answers, a lot of people. Guys, please unmute. मार्क्स नहीं कटेंगे, नेगेटिव मार्किंग नहीं है फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल। कलेक्शन ऑफ फैक्ट्स, जरूरी थोड़ी है फैक्ट्स ही हो, इट कैन बी एनीथिंग आल्सो, राइट? आई मीन डेटा है वो तो, हु इज सेइंग इट हैज टू बी फैक्ट्स ओनली? Okay, let me explain this. So see guys, in simple language, data is basically something which you can store, right? Okay, something which you can see, something which you can extract, right? Okay, that is all called data, right? Okay, मैं आपको examples के through समझाऊंगा वापस से again, right? So let's suppose you are texting, right? Okay, to a friend, WhatsApp पर जो तुम भेज रहे हो मैसेज, वो डेटा है, ठीक है? Instagram पर पिक्चर तुम क्लिक कर रहे हो या वीडियो बना रहे हो, वो डेटा है, ठीक है? Let's suppose you are sending an email, right, to your professor, that is also data, correct? Professor PPT, let's suppose I am basically sharing this presentation with you, right? That is also data, right? अभी ये session record हो रहा है, ठीक है? That is also data, correct? So anything which can be stored or anything which we have basically, right? Okay, it doesn't need to be information. See, information is basically something which you derive from data, right? It's not opposite way. What you guys are saying, okay, list of information, भाई, but क्या होता है, बटर तो दूध से बनता है, बटर से दूध, सॉरी, दूध तो बटर से दूध बनता है, दूध थोड़ी बटर से बनता है, करेक्ट? तो सेम थिंग हियर, राइट? ओके, इंफॉर्मेशन जो है, इंफॉर्मेशन विल बी डिराइव्ड फ्रॉम डेटा, डेटा विल नॉट बी डिराइव्ड फ्रॉम इंफॉर्मेशन, राइट? ओके, सो you understood, right, what is data? So data can be in three formats, right? So for example, somebody I think mentioned that a list of products, okay, can be data. That was a very, very good example. So let's suppose we have a table, right, in Excel file, correct? I mean, it has name, address, credit card information, right? Okay, geolocation, etc. That is also like information. Sorry, that is also data. The second is semi-structured data, right? You are sending emails, you are basically, going to a website, right? Website, basically you find HTML code, CSS code, right? Okay, that is also data, correct? Then last is unstructured, right? Any audio, video, or photos, right? Okay, which we have like tons of data, right? Okay, अपने सबके फोन भरे हुए हैं, मतलब unstructured data से तो मतलब ऐसा है, right? So that is unstructured data. So these are the three types of data. Now let's understand science. What do you mean by science? अभी वापस से आमिर खान की लैंग्वेज में बताओ, साइंस क्या है? बोलो यार, अनम्यूट करो कोई भी।
Helps us to explain things.
Explain things. Okay, somewhat good answer. Okay, और कोई? Please unmute yourself, guys.
किसी भी चीज को डिटेल में स्टडी करना।
किसी भी चीज को डिटेल में स्टडी करना, यस, अच्छा आंसर है। और कोई?
Drawing conclusions with the experiments and theory.
Drawing conclusions from the experiments. Yes, good answer. Yes. अच्छा definition है. Guys, हिंदी इंग्लिश दोनों चलेगी. ठीक है. हिंदी में बोला हिंदी में भी बोलो, कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है. इंग्लिश में बोलना इंग्लिश में बोलो, कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं. Any other definitions?
नेचर में जो चेंजेस हो रही है उनको स्टडी करना.
नेचर में जो चेंजेस हो रहे हैं उनको स्टडी करना. यस, वो भी अच्छा डेफिनेशन है. यस, बहुत अच्छा डेफिनेशन है. बात ठीक है. तो लेट्स अंडरस्टैंड, राइट. ओके, साइंस. तो अगर इसको सिंपल लैंग्वेज में समझे, राइट, साइंस क्या बोलता है बेसिकली? साइंस इज एन एफर्ट, ओके, टू डिस्कवर एंड इंक्रीज ह्यूमन अंडरस्टैंडिंग. आई थिंक किसी ने एक बहुत अच्छी डेफिनेशन बोली थी कि चीजों को समझना, राइट. ओके, वही डेफिनेशन है यहाँ पर. साइंस इज एन एफर्ट. अब एफर्ट बोल रहा है यहाँ पर ये, राइट. एफर्ट मीन्स बेसिकली ऐसा नहीं है कि भाई जरूर ये रिजल्ट निकलना, राइट. बहुत सारे फेल्ड एक्सपेरिमेंट्स होते हैं, राइट. बहुत सारे फेल्ड साइंटिस्ट है, राइट. दैट मीन्स दे आर नॉट डूइंग साइंस. वो भी तो साइंस कर ही रहे हैं ना, मतलब ऐसा है. ठीक है. So science is the effort to discover and increase human understanding of how the physical world works, right? अब ये आइंस्टाइन ने एक फॉर्मूला दिया था, E = mc स्क्वायर, राइट. वो भी तो साइंस ही हुआ, करेक्ट. आई मीन न्यूटन ने इतने सारे लॉज दिए, मतलब ऐसा 3 लॉज ऑफ मोशंस, करेक्ट. आई मीन करेक्ट, वो भी साइंस ही हुआ. उससे अपनी अंडरस्टैंडिंग बढ़ती है, मतलब ऐसा, राइट. ठीक है. सिमिलरली वी डू एनी केमिकल रिएक्शन, राइट. ओके, केमिस्ट्री लैब में जाओ, ठीक है. आई एम श्योर सम ऑफ यू मस्ट बी केमिकल इंजीनियर, राइट. खूब सारे लोगों ने तो मतलब लैब वेब जलाई होगी, मतलब मेरे हिसाब से तो, करेक्ट. आई मीन बीकर वीकर तोड़े होंगे, करेक्ट. आई मीन तो वो भी एक केमिकल रिएक्शन आप लोगों ने करी, ठीक है. उससे आपकी अंडरस्टैंडिंग बढ़ी, करेक्ट. आई मीन इतने सारे आजकल एक्सपेरिमेंट्स होते हैं, ठीक है. इतनी सारी D2C कंपनीज निकलती है, मामा अर्थ वगैरह निकलते हैं, राइट. आई, ठीक है. इज अ गुड एग्जाम्पल. वो कैसे आई? उन्होंने भी तो बहुत सारे एक्सपेरिमेंट्स किए होंगे, करेक्ट. ठीक है. आजकल कॉफी कॉफी का मेकअप बनने लग गया, कॉफी की क्रीम बनने लग गई, मतलब ऐसा, राइट. दे ऑल आर एक्सपेरिमेंट्स बेसिकली, राइट. उससे अपनी अंडरस्टैंडिंग बढ़ी. They all are doing science basically, correct. I mean, so that is any chemical reaction is also science, right? Simple definition. अब मेरे को बताओ, what is data science according to you? Guys, unmute yourself.
Understanding of data is data type.
ये तो बहुत अच्छी डेफिनेशन दी तुमने, अंडरस्टैंडिंग ऑफ डेटा, डेटा साइंस. हाँ, ओके. मोर, एनी अदर पर्सन?
Study that data and taking inferences from it.
Sorry, can you repeat please?
To study data and then taking inferences from it.
To study data and taking inferences from data. Yes. Okay. Yes. Next one, I think somebody was saying something.
Gather data and predict the.
Gather data and predict. Okay. More people, I mean, एक दो definitions और बताओ यार. Guys, please participate. You know, let's make it interactive. तभी मजा आएगा उसके अंदर, नहीं तो मजा नहीं आएगा.
The efforts used to study our experiences.
Experiences तो हो गया ना. अभी तो डेटा साइंस की बात चल रही है, ह्यूमन साइंस की बात थोड़ी चल रही है अभी.
Observing the trends in the data and I mean getting some useful insights from that.
ओके, जरूर ये यूजफुल ही निकले. तुम्हारे फोन के अंदर इतना सारा डेटा पड़ा हुआ है, इतने सारे व्हाट्सएप इमेजेस पड़ी हुई है, फैमिली के व्हाट्सएप ग्रुप्स पड़े हुए हैं, मतलब ऐसा, राइट. कभी फैमिली ग्रुप्स में देखा है कुछ यूजफुल इंफॉर्मेशन आते हुए अपार्ट फ्रॉम बर्थडे? वो भी तो डेटा ही हुआ ना, मतलब.
To observe data and find patterns.
Okay. Anyway, some of the good definitions are there, right? Okay, you guys did a great work, great job. Yeah. So data science is absolutely, it's an effort to discover, okay, information. जैसे मैंने बोला कि information will be derived from data, right? Okay. So data science is basically an effort to discover some useful information or some information, right? Okay. It's not necessary that it will be useful only every time Okay, sometimes you will feel that कि यार information कुछ भी नहीं निकली है, right? Okay, because data is not like up to mark, or data is not basically कि data set छोटा है, ठीक है? Correct, I mean, so data science is an effort to discover information, right? Okay, it can be useful information, it can be non-useful information also. Simple, ठीक है? It's an effort. Okay, so now let's understand, like the parts of data science, right? So this is the data science life cycle, right? So if you talk about the entire data science, it's divided into 4 phases, right? Now, number one is basically data collection, right? In this process, basically, or in this phase, we collect the data, or we gather data from various sources, right? Okay. Okay, like let's suppose if we are making an app, or let's suppose we are taking pictures, right? Okay, or we are collecting data from our mobile sensors, right? Okay, all these are different types of different ways to collect data or gather data. Second is data cleaning. It's a process basically. आप जैसे मैं बताऊं, let's suppose अगर मैं एक सर्वे करवाता हूँ कि what is your home town, right? Okay, प्रॉब्लम क्या होगी, और उसके अंदर मैं पूछूं कि यार आप अपना स्टेट लिखो, ठीक है? तो let's suppose राजस्थान का एग्जांपल लेते हैं, right? Okay, somebody will write complete Rajasthan, somebody will write RAJ, somebody will write RAJ dot, somebody will write in caps, full caps, somebody will write in like full small letters, somebody will write in camel words basically, right? Camel was समझते हो, first word capital and rest small. The point is basically being a data scientist, तुम्हारे पास ऐसे डेटा काफी सारी प्रॉब्लम्स रहेगी, मतलब ऐसा, right? Then you have to clean the data, right? Okay, you have to standardize the data, right? अभी मान लो कल को डेटा एनालिसिस करोगे, तुम्हारा प्रोफेसर पूछेगा कि राजस्थान से कितने बच्चे आए इस वेबिनार के अंदर, राइट? लेट सपोज इस सेमिनार के अंदर, ठीक है? यू कैन नॉट से कि यार 4 बच्चे राजस्थान से आए, 3 बच्चे आरएजे से आए, 3 बच्चे आरएजे डॉट से आए, मतलब ऐसा, राइट? यू कैन नॉट से दैट, करेक्ट? यू नीड टू हैव अ कंपाइल्ड इंफॉर्मेशन, राइट? दैट्स व्हाई डेटा क्लीनिंग इज इंपॉर्टेंट. Next is basically data transformation, right? Okay, so it involves basically converting data from one format to another, right? Okay, correct. तो हो क्या सकता है कि let's suppose you are collecting some data but it has to be text, right? Okay, but वो numbers में store हो रहा है, right? Okay, or maybe some numbers are getting stored in text, right? Okay, let's suppose मैं उसका example बताता हूँ मैं कि if I ask one more question is basically कि यार how many courses are you taking in this semester, right? Okay, or next semester, correct? Somebody will write 5 courses, somebody will write 4 courses, somebody will write 6 courses, correct? I mean, right? Our data, let's suppose if it's getting stored in text, right? Okay, because somebody can put 8, somebody can put EIGST also, somebody can put SIX also, right? Okay, so that will be called basically, like that data will be stored in text format, right? But then we cannot do any analysis, right? Before that, what we need to do is we need to clean the data. We need to transform the data also into the useful format, right? Correct. Once the data will be converted from text to numerical format, then only you can do any analysis, right? So that is called data transformation. Okay. Last but not the least is data exploration, right? Okay. We will basically analyze the data. We will see that, okay, hey, like after, let's suppose right now there are 65 people in this seminar, right? Okay. So out of 65, 45 people are taking 6 courses, 10 people are taking, 7 courses, and 10 people are taking 8 courses in the next semester, right? Okay, so it's a useful information to the professor that, okay, hey, we need to have at least 45 benches basically, or at least 45 benches, in any course, right? Okay, or we need to have maximum 65 benches in any course basically, right? Okay, it gives a good, I would say, good, information also to us, right? So this is the data science life cycle, right? So if you are doing any work in the data science domain, it will be related to one of these domains only, or one of these phases only. Now let's understand, some of the applications, right? Okay, in various industries. So first of all, let's take an example of a company called Airbnb, right? Anybody is there who have not heard about Airbnb? कोई ऐसा है इस ग्रुप के अंदर जिसने Airbnb के बारे में नहीं सुना हो? Airbnb, अमेरिकन एक्सप्रेस एंड न्यूयॉर्क टाइम्स, किसी के बारे में नहीं सुना हो? ओके, जरासंध ने नहीं सुना. ओके, एनीबॉडी?
Airbnb नहीं सुना है सर उसके, और अमेरिकन
किसके बारे में?
Airbnb.
Okay. First of all, Jarasan, really appreciate it because you are coming out and you are saying this upfront, right? Okay, it's not very easy to say. यार कुछ पता नहीं है. So, kudos to you first of all, right? So see guys, Airbnb, I will tell you what is the company, right? Okay, what do they do? So let's suppose तुमको कहीं घूमने जाना है, ठीक है? अब अपने इंडिया में तो क्या होता है कि चलो यार कहीं भी घूमने जा रहे हैं तो किसी रिश्तेदार की रह ली है, मतलब ऐसा है, वहां पर मामा मौसी चाचा चाची कुछ हो गए मतलब ऐसा, राइट, उनके घर ले लिए, राइट। बहुत बार ऐसे होते हैं कि जैसे मान लो किसी सिटी के अंदर अपन को कोई भी रिलेटिव नहीं मिल पाता, राइट, देन वी बेसिकली बुक अ होटल, राइट। अब होटल्स क्या आते हैं, जैसे लेट सपोज इन द कंपनी को, जैसे कंट्रीज होते हैं ना यूएस वगैरह में, होटल्स आर वेरी वेरी एक्सपेंसिव। एक दिन के होटल के चार्जेस लगते हैं करीब करीब $100, ओके, एक दिन का। $100 मीन्स 8,000 रुपये, ठीक है। इसी अपॉर्चुनिटी को एक एंटरप्रेन्योर ने देखा। व्हाट दैट एंटरप्रेन्योर डिड इज बेसिकली, अब बहुत सारे लोगों के घरों में एक एक रूम खाली रहता है मतलब ऐसा, राइट, ओके। सो व्हाट ही डिड इज बेसिकली ही बिल्ट अ प्लेटफॉर्म। वहां पर उन लोगों को बोला यार अपनी प्रॉपर्टी यहाँ पर लिस्ट डाउन करो, ठीक है, और गेस्ट वगैरह जो भी कोई भी घूमने आता है तो उनको होस्ट करो मतलब ऐसा है। एंड देन आई विल गिव यू $30 to $40 पर डे, मतलब समथिंग लाइक दैट, राइट, ठीक है। अब इससे क्या हो गया कि जैसे जो घूमने जा रहा था उसका भी फायदा, क्योंकि उनको कम रेट पर मिल रहे थे मतलब होटल्स वगैरह। एयरबीएनबी वाज आल्सो मेकिंग मनी, करेक्ट, आई मीन, एंड देन होस्ट वर आल्सो मेकिंग मनी, जिनके घर घर पे एक कमरा खाली पड़ा हुआ, राइट, ओके, दे आर आल्सो मेकिंग मनी, करेक्ट। So company basically built a platform. Today this company is basically around $150 billion of market cap, right? इतनी बड़ी कंपनी आज के तारीख के अंदर, and it's present in more than 100 countries, right? So it's a very very big company. तो व्हाट दिस एयरबीएनबी इज सेइंग दैट, अब क्या होता है बहुत बार जैसे अपन देखते हैं ना कि अपन न्यू ईयर, सब लोग न्यू ईयर पर घूमने जाते हैं मतलब ऐसा, राइट, ओके, सबको जाना न्यू ईयर पर घूमना, ठीक है, सबको मान लो घर पर जाना है मतलब दिवाली के टाइम पर। तो व्हाट दिस कंपनी डिड इज बेसिकली, दे स्टार्टेड फाइंडिंग पैटर्न्स कि यार कितने लोग जो है ना मतलब कहाँ पर जा रहे हैं, राइट, ओके, लेट्स सपोज बैंगलोर से कितने लोग जो है मतलब वो गोवा जाएंगे घूमने के लिए, राइट, दिल्ली से कितने लोग गोवा घूमने के लिए आएंगे, गोवा की डिमांड कितनी रहेगी न्यू ईयर पर, राइट, ओके, ठीक है। केरला कितने लोग जाएंगे घूमने के लिए, राइट, मनाली मसूरी कितने लोग जाएंगे घूमने के लिए, ठीक है। तो दैट दे स्टार्टेड बेसिकली प्रिडिक्टिंग इट, ओके, एंड बेस्ड ऑन दैट दे स्टार्टेड बेसिकली ऑप्टिमाइजिंग द प्राइस। अब क्या होता है देखो, ऐसी चीजें साल के अंदर कुछ कुछ टाइम से मिलती है, ऐसा तो है ही नहीं कि मतलब रोज रोज ऐसा कर सकते हैं, राइट, ओके। व्हेन द डिमांड इज हाई, तुमने देखा होगा फ्लाइट टिकट्स के अंदर जब डिमांड हाई रहती है तो ऑटोमेटिक प्राइस बढ़ जाती है, राइट, ओके। तो दे स्टार्टेड बेसिकली आल्सो प्रोवाइडिंग डायनामिक प्राइसिंग, राइट, ओके, कि यार again let's suppose if the demand in Missouri is basically high, they will start also putting higher prices also. They will start showing prices accordingly to the client, to the end user, right, okay, or to the customer, correct. They started like giving options, okay, that okay, let's suppose if I like nature, right, okay, अब मेरे को नेचर पसंद है तो मेरे को भाई मैं गोवा बीच पसंद नहीं है, लेट्स सपोज, दे विल नॉट स्टार्ट गिविंग द गोवा ऑप्शंस, दे विल शो मी ऑप्शंस रिलेटेड टू मनाली मसूरी, Shimla, उस type के options, Kerala, right? They will start giving me those type of options, right? They started understanding the preferences, right? Okay, so for example, some people are vegetarian, some people are non-vegetarian, right? Okay, like I'm Jain, basically, I'm strict vegetarian, right? Okay, correct. I mean, they can give me options basically. Hey, this is the host or this is the person who can host you, and they are also completely vegetarian as well, right? Okay, so they started, understanding the कस्टमर प्रेफरेंस, राइट, ओके, कस्टमर प्रेफरेंस। अब स्मोकिंग वाले होते हैं, सुट्टा मारना होता है जिनको, उनको होस्ट भी सुट्टा मारने वाला मिले तो बहुत अच्छा है ना, मतलब ऐसा है। तो सेम टाइप से चीज मतलब ऐसा, राइट, ओके, सीजनल डिमांड समझने लग गए वो। तो दे स्टार्टेड बेसिकली लाइक इम्प्लीमेंटिंग डेटा साइंस एट मल्टीपल प्लेसेस। ये तो मैं कुछ कुछ एग्जांपल्स आप लोगों को बता रहा हूँ, बट देयर आर थाउजेंड्स ऑफ एग्जांपल्स आर देयर इन एयरबीएनबी लाइक दिस, राइट। नेक्स्ट है जैसे अमेरिकन एक्सप्रेस। अमेरिकन एक्सप्रेस इज अ क्रेडिट कार्ड कंपनी। अब क्रेडिट कार्ड जैसे जैसे टेक्नोलॉजी फास्ट होती है वैसे वैसे फाइनेंशियल फ्रॉड्स बढ़ते जा रहे हैं, मतलब ऐसा, राइट, ओके, ठीक है। तो व्हाट दिस अमेरिकन एक्सप्रेस का एक बहुत अच्छा प्रोडक्ट है कॉल्ड इट्स अमेरिकन एक्सप्रेस क्रेडिट कार्ड, राइट। दे स्टार्टेड बेसिकली अंडरस्टैंडिंग द transactions basically, right, okay. They started understanding the pattern in those transactions, right. Let's suppose right now, like let's suppose I'm in Bangalore, right, okay, I will be doing transactions from Bangalore only. Suddenly if I make any transactions, okay, from let's suppose Missouri, okay, and if I have done the same, if I have done the ticket also from the same credit card, then American Express know that okay, you have booked the ticket for Missouri, from Bangalore to Missouri from this credit card. Now you will be visiting Missouri, correct? I mean, that means that means you can make some transactions, right? But let's suppose if you haven't booked this ticket from that credit card, and now suddenly a transaction comes, okay, from your credit card, right? Okay, that means there is a high probability or higher chances that it might be a fraud transaction, right? Okay, so they started basically calling people also when they are making these transactions that hey, is this a legitimate transaction or not, right? Okay, so this is how American Express is basically implement or like they are implementing data science. अभी मैं आज एग्जांपल बताता हूँ। मैं आज मेरे पास आईसीआईसीआई क्रेडिट कार्ड है, ठीक है। आई वाज सरप्राइज्ड, आईसीआईसीआई का बैंक अकाउंट है, ठीक है। रिसेंटली दे कॉल्ड मी बेसिकली राइट फॉर 900 रुपीज का ट्रांजेक्शन। अब आई वाज सिटिंग इन बैंगलोर, बैंगलोर में बैठ के 900 रुपए का ट्रांजेक्शन किया, मतलब ऐसा है। उसमें भी मेरे को फोन आ गया। आई वाज लाइक यार सरप्राइज, यार ऐसा तो आज तक अभी यूएस में किया नहीं, मतलब ऐसा राइट। मतलब इनका डेटा साइंस मॉडल्स वगैरह अच्छे नहीं है, मतलब ऐसा। दे आर नॉट इम्प्लीमेंटिंग डेटा साइंस इन अ प्रॉपर वे। क्यों? बार बार फोन करेंगे तो भाई कस्टमर तो परेशान होगा ना, मतलब ऐसा है। पीपल विल बी फ्रस्ट्रेटेड कि यार हर बार ही कॉल कर देते हैं, फिर इसका मतलब क्या निकला फिर, मतलब ऐसा राइट। तो दैट इज ऑल्सो नॉट गुड, करेक्ट। So for companies, it's very important to predict that, fraudulent transaction, right? You cannot call every time. You cannot call basically, like lesser number of times also, right? Okay, you need to predict very well, right? तो वो सारी चीजें बहुत important है. This is how, American Express is, predicting, or they are implementing data science. Last is New York Times, right? New York Times is a media company, right? They have basically their digital newspapers, right? So they know what type of content the end user is consuming. So let's suppose if I love sports news, right? Okay, sports news में भी let's suppose मेरे को football की पसंद है, ठीक है। तो American Express, sorry, this New York Times will be sharing more and more news related to football only, right? Okay, they are basically understanding the patterns, that how much time you are spending, right? Okay, which news you are basically like consuming also. So that's how they've started tailoring their content also, right? Now let's understand career options basically, right? अभी तो सब कुछ हो गया, ठीक है। We understood data science, we understood how some companies are using data science also, right? Okay, now let's understand अभी अपन सब लोग किस चीज की रहा है कि यार डेटा साइंटिस्ट कैसे बने, मतलब ऐसा, right? Now this is the most important section, ठीक है। तो गाइस सबसे पहले अगर तुम लिंक्डइन पर जाते हो, राइट, लिंक्डइन पर इफ यू सी एनी ऑफ दीज जॉब्स, राइट, ओके, डेटा एनालिस्ट और डेटा साइंटिस्ट, डेटा इंजीनियर, सॉल्यूशन आर्किटेक्ट, राइट, ओके, डिजिटल ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन मैनेजर, बिजनेस इंटेलिजेंस इंजीनियर और मैनेजर, एआई इंजीनियर, एनालिटिक्स कंसल्टेंट, करेक्ट, आई मीन even consulting manager, right? Okay, chief digital officer or CIO, CDO, CSO, right? Okay. If you see any of these positions on LinkedIn, that means these people are working in the domain of data science, right? देखो क्या होता है, data science is a vast field, right? Okay. And there are multiple job opportunities, multiple job options, right? Multiple titles are there, right? Okay. ऐसा मत समझना कि यार ये consultant है, that doesn't mean basically he is not working in data science, right? Okay. That means they are also working in the data science, ठीक है। क्या होता है, टाइटल चेंज होते रहते हैं मतलब लोगों के, ठीक है। तो फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल, if you see any of these career options, or if you see any of these job opportunities also, that means they are basically doing some work in the data science domain, right? Now अभी तो चलो अपन को पता लग गया कि यार चलो लिंक्डइन पर जाना है अपन को, राइट, ओके, व्हाट टाइप ऑफ जॉब्स और व्हाट टाइप ऑफ इंटर्नशिप्स डू वी नीड टू लुक फॉर, राइट। बट नाउ द क्वेश्चन इज यार कि यार सीखे क्या, मतलब कैसे अपनी अपनी प्रोफाइल बनाए। तो द थिंग इज बेसिकली, आई विल टेल यू, to become a data scientist, first of all, basically, the minimum skill sets you need to require is you need to first learn data visualization tool. मैंने लास्ट टाइम क्या बोला था कि data science is divided into 4 phases: data collection, data cleaning, data transformation, and last is data visualization, right? Okay, or pattern analysis, right? So what I would suggest you is basically सबसे पहले जो है ना, तुम लोग एक डेटा विजुअलाइजेशन टूल सीखो, मतलब ऐसा है, इफ यू वांट टू बिल्ड योर करियर इन डेटा साइंस डोमेन, and that tool can be out of these 4. It can be Power BI. It's a Microsoft product, ठीक है। Almost all the Fortune 500 companies are using this product, right? I told you that I guided basically multiple government clients and multiple Fortune 500 companies, right? How? Right? Because I had a very vast knowledge of this particular product, right? Okay, Power BI. That's one of the reasons that I was able to guide them. Okay. Next is Tableau. Tableau was very popular basically a couple of years ago, but right now these days its popularity is going down. Okay, it's a product of Salesforce, right? Okay, Power BI has basically picked up very fast in the last 5 years, right? Okay, and Tableau is very expensive as well as compared to Power BI. And that's another reason that most of the people are using Power BI, because it's very cheap as compared to Tableau. Next is R and Python, right? We know that R and Python, we are hearing R and Python, since childhood actually, right? Okay, correct. I mean, कुछ लोगों ने तो बचपन में सुन लिया होगा R and Python तो, right? Okay, correct. I'm sure some of you must be in IB schools or ICSE schools also, right? I'm sure उसमें सिखाते भी होंगे R and Python वगैरह से कुछ लैंग्वेज वगैरह, ठीक है। My recommendation will be R and Python is basically still somewhat complex. If you need to build, either learn one of these two, Power BI and Tableau. My personal recommendation will be Power BI. Reason is very simple. It's a Microsoft product. Microsoft is one of the biggest companies, is a dream company of, almost everyone basically, right? Okay. Who doesn't want to work in Microsoft, right? Okay. Or who doesn't want to work on Microsoft products? And almost every big company or every small company is using Microsoft products only, right? Okay. So that's one of the reasons. Second is you need to learn is domain knowledge. Trust me guys, एक कंप्यूटर साइंटिस्ट को एक डोमेन नॉलेज देना बहुत मुश्किल है, ठीक है, बट एक पर्सन विथ हैविंग अ डोमेन नॉलेज उसको डेटा साइंस सिखाना बहुत आसान है. लेट्स सपोज आई एम अ सिविल इंजीनियर, राइट? ठीक है, अब सिविल इंजीनियरिंग के अंदर मेरे को डोमेन नॉलेज थी, ठीक है, एंड देन मेरे को डेटा साइंस सीखना बहुत आसान था. बट लेट्स सपोज एक कंप्यूटर साइंटिस्ट को अगर वो सिखाते से डोमेन नॉलेज, इट्स वेरी वेरी डिफिकल्ट. वो तो वही बोलता रहता है कि यार ये एल्गोरिथम लिखो, वो एल्गोरिथम लिखो, ये करो, वो करो, ये कोड कर दो, राइट? ओके, बट that's what I'm saying, right? That person from computer science background will be having a somewhat difficult time to become a data scientist. आप लोग जो दूसरे डोमेन के हो उनके लिए डेटा साइंटिस्ट बनना बहुत आसान है as compared to that computer science graduate, right? Next skill is you need to have is, सी डेटा साइंस इज ऑल अबाउट, आपके पास क्या होगा, बहुत सारा डेटा होगा, ठीक है, बहुत सारा, ठीक है. अब उसके अंदर क्या है कि इट्स योर जॉब टू आस्क क्वेश्चंस, राइट? ओके, आपको इन्फॉर्मेशन निकालनी पड़ेगी, ठीक है. इन्फॉर्मेशन निकालने के लिए जो क्वेश्चंस होंगे ना वो आप लोगों को पूछने पड़ेंगे. योर मैनेजर विल नॉट कम एंड विल टेल यू कि यार ये चीज एनालिसिस करो, राइट, ये चीज निकालो, राइट? ओके, यू नीड टू हैव अ क्यूरियस माइंड, राइट? ओके, हमेशा क्वेश्चंस पूछो, राइट? ओके, जैसे मैंने अभी आप लोगों को एक एग्जांपल दिया, यार लेट्स सपोज आउट ऑफ दिस 65 people, right? Okay, in this seminar, right, how many course basically everybody is taking, right? Okay, what are the minimum people who are like what are the number of people who are taking 45 courses, right? Okay, how many benches we need to have in each classroom, right? Okay, all those things, correct? I mean, so that type of questions we need to ask, right? Next is, once you ask questions, yeah, you need to formulate a problem. कैसा नहीं कि कुछ भी रैंडम क्वेश्चन पूछ रहे, राइट? ओके, वी नीड टू फॉर्मुलेट अ प्रॉब्लम, क्या these type of questions we need to ask, right? Okay, this is how we need to solve a problem, right? Correct. This is how we need to like structured approach also required. This is how we need to solve, this is how we need to visualize the data, right? Okay, so for example, some people can show that result, okay, in bar in a table format. Somebody basically can show that in a bar chart also. Somebody can show like a histogram also, right? Okay, that histogram is there. So all those things are important, to basically from a data scientist perspective, right? And communicate insights and recommendations. Communication skills are very, very important, right? If you are from the domain knowledge, then you will be able to communicate properly, right, with your manager. But let's suppose if you are not from the same domain, right, you will have a very, very hard time to communicate, right? Okay, if your manager, or let's suppose if your clients will ask questions, right? Okay, they can throw any random word, right? And then you will not be able to understand if you don't have domain knowledge, right? So domain knowledge is very, very important. Last but not the least, it's not very, very important and it's not required, but it's more kind of like a cherry on the top, right? Okay, so if you know basic SQL, basic SQL, right? Okay, it's more like cherry on the cake. Okay, so this is cake, this is cherry basically, right? Okay, so if you have some SQL skills, that's good, but that's not necessary or mandatory. So as I mentioned, the importance of domain knowledge is because understanding the industry is very, very important, right? Okay, when you are working with your colleagues, okay, or when you are working with your manager, when you are working in your company, right? Understanding your domain is very, very important, right? That's how you will be able to ask questions, right? Okay, that's how you will be able to collaborate with your people, with your clients, or with your managers also, right? With your seniors, okay, if you have domain knowledge. So my last key takeaway from this session is basically, see, data science is a very, very big word and a buzzword, right? Okay, a lot of people will say कि यार ये algorithm लगा दो, ये machine learning कर लो, इसके अंदर तो ऐसे computational power होनी चाहिए, ये कर लो, वो कर लो, right? Data train कर लो. See, the problem is at the end of the day, your manager, your boss, or your company CEO doesn't care basically, right? तुम कौन सा model लगाते हो, he doesn't care. उसको the these people care only about these three things: increase revenue, right, improve processes की so that people become more productive, right, और cutting down unnecessary cost. आज अपन सब लोग चैट जीपीटी क्यों यूज करते हैं बताओ? ठीक है, बिकॉज चैट जीपीटी इज मेकिंग अस प्रोडक्टिव, राइट? ओके, जो चीज 4 घंटे में होती थी वो अभी 10 मिनट के अंदर होती है. दैट्स द व्हाई वी लव चैट जीपीटी. So think about data as a data scientist, right? If you are not creating value in your company, okay, by either of these three, like outcomes, then ultimately you are basically just a cost center, right? Okay, a company is giving salary, but you are not adding any value, correct? I mean, then you will be unnecessary resource. तभी तो layoff होते हैं सारी companies के अंदर, layoff क्यों होते हैं, ठीक है? So as a data scientist, it's very, very important that you focus on business metrics, right? Okay, business metrics simple है, या तो revenue increase करो या processes improve करो so that everybody becomes productive, or otherwise remove unnecessary cost, basically these three things, right? This is how you will be able to. तो ऐसा नहीं कि आप लोग करोगे ये, but your analysis should be basically focused toward these three things, basically, right? Okay, whatever recommendations you are doing or whatever analysis you are doing, your analysis, your recommendations should be toward these three things, right? And now the question is कि यार चलो सब कुछ हो गया, ठीक है, अभी I'm fired up basically, right? Okay, कि अब तो चलो ठीक है, डेटा साइंटिस्ट बनना ही बनना है मेरे को. Now the question is कि यार कैसे बने, मतलब ऐसा, right? Okay, तो guys मेरा रिकमेंडेशन ये रहेगा, देखो दो चीज होती है, या तो आप इंडिया में बनो या बाहर बनो, मतलब ऐसा, राइट? ओके, एज आई मेंशन अर्लियर कि आई विल आल्सो कवर दैट, आई विल आल्सो एक्सप्लेन यू, बिकॉज I have worked in the US. I have lived in the US for 6 years. I can explain you, right? Okay, how US data science career is different from Indian data science career, right? So number one is, if you want to start, okay, then do a boot camp. Okay, there are various companies in the market out there, okay, or they are basically like अभी तो क्या होगा कि जैसे लेट सपोज तुम अगर कोई मान लो कोर्स कर लोगे, ठीक है, कोर्स से तो कर लोगे, बट देन boot camps are basically important for you to get an internships, basically, right? Okay, and to get a certificate also. So do a boot camp and get a certificate from reputed organization, right? नेक्स्ट इज बेसिकली गेट एन इंटर्नशिप और एन अनपेड प्रोजेक्ट इन इंडिया. अभी आप लोग इंडिया में बैठे हो, ठीक है, आप लोगों का प्लेसमेंट्स होंगे, सम ऑफ यू मस्ट बी लाइक लुकिंग फॉर इंटर्नशिप्स आल्सो, राइट? सो बूट कैंप के बाद इंटर्नशिप्स या अनपेड प्रोजेक्ट देखो कॉलेज के अंदर ही, राइट? ओके, ठीक है. मैं तुमको बता देता हूँ, इंडिया में थोड़ी बहुत जो इंटर्नशिप्स होती है ना, वो थोड़ी टेक्निकल नेचर की होती है, थोड़ी बहुत, ठीक है. यूएस के अंदर काफी सारी इंटर्नशिप डेटा साइंस डोमेन के अंदर कंसल्टिंग डोमेन की भी होती है, राइट? ओके, सो फॉर एग्जांपल my work also was towards consulting. I started with technical, like technical side. Slowly I moved towards consulting side, because the more and more knowledge you have, right? Okay, then you will be able to guide your clients, basically, right? अब जब नॉलेज खूब सारी होती है तो कंसल्टेंट बन जाते हो आप लोग, ठीक है. तो यूएस के अंदर काफी सारी पोजीशंस रहती है ऐसी कंसल्टिंग टाइप की, राइट? और इंडिया में क्या होता है, इंडिया में थोड़ी टेक्निकल होती है, क्योंकि यूएस वालों को भी पता है कि यार सारा का सारा टेक्निकल काम वैसे भी इंडिया को देना है अपन को, तो टेक्निकल लोग कम करते हैं वो लोग वहाँ के, ठीक है. तो टेक्निकल थोड़ा बहुत यहाँ पर आता है इंडिया में, एंड कंसल्टिंग वाला काम मोस्ट ज्यादा यूएस में रहता है, ठीक है. बट ऐसा नहीं है कि इंडिया में कंसल्टिंग वाला जीरो है या यूएस में टेक्निकल जीरो है, ऐसा नहीं है, ठीक है. देर आर सम, इंडिया में भी होता है कंसल्टिंग वाला, इन यूएस में भी होता है टेक्निकल वाला, बट ज्यादा टेक्निकल यहाँ होता है. Let's suppose if you want to like look for options abroad, right? Okay, I would highly suggest then do a like masters in data science or business analytics, or you can basically do masters in your own domain also, right? Okay, domain मतलब तुम्हारी ब्रांच के अंदर भी कर सकते हो, and you can take some electives also. आजकल बहुत सारे कोर्स, बहुत सारे कॉलेजेस में क्या होते हैं कि डेटा साइंस रिलेटेड electives रहते हैं, तो you can take some electives in your college, in like in your college also, ठीक है. तो this is all about it. तो अभी आई अगेन नाउ यू मस्ट बी थिंकिंग कि यार जैसे मान लो बूट कैंप भी करे, तो बूट कैंप कहाँ से करे, राइट? ओके, ठीक है. तो आई वाज बेसिकली टीचिंग डेटा साइंस फ्रॉम मेनी इयर्स. ओके, रिसेंटली आई हैड टाई अप विद माइक्रोसॉफ्ट एज वेल. ओके, ये मेरा खुद का माइक्रोसॉफ्ट का सर्टिफिकेट है, ठीक है. सो आई एम ऑल्सो होस्टिंग अ कोर्स, ओके, और मोर काइंड ऑफ लाइक अ बूट कैंप फॉर यू गाइस, राइट? ओके, यू विल बी प्रोवाइडेड सर्टिफिकेट बाय माइक्रोसॉफ्ट, जो ऐसा दिखता है, ठीक है. इसमें खुद सत्य नडेला का साइन रहता है, सॉ इस बूट कैंप के उस पर, ठीक है. एंड इट विल बी 1 month boot camp, and the price of this boot camp is basically 20,000 rupees market के लिए. But since you are from IIT, you are IIT people, I am also from IIT, it's more kind of like giving back to the IIT community, right? So the cost for this boot camp for you guys will be 15,000 rupees, right? Okay, and it covers the certificate cost also, right? So the certificate cost will not be an additional cost, it's included in 15,000 rupees only. And then once you pass this boot camp, okay, there will be an exam by Microsoft. Once you complete this boot camp, there will be an exam by Microsoft, and then if you pass that exam, then you get a certificate from Microsoft. And after getting the certificate, I will help you in getting your jobs and internships also, right? So job and internship support will also be provided by me to you guys. Okay, so we will share more information regarding this bootcamp, right? Okay, I think your college people will share more information regarding this. I have a website called powerbi.zohosites.com also, right? Okay, here you can see more information. You can download the curriculum as you can see here, right? Okay, you can download the curriculum. It's called, the link is powerbi.zohosites.com, right? You can see about the syllabus, you can download the brochure, right? You can see, you can basically, put up your information. So once you put this information, one of our team member will reach out to you within 48 hours, right? Okay, so, and we are basically running on next batch. The next batch is starting from 25th of June, right? Okay, the classes will be Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday night. Okay, 9 o'clock to 10 o'clock. Why 9 o'clock to 10 o'clock? Because some of the people comes from the US also, right? So in the US, basically it will be around noon, right? So that's why, to like look into that, to consider that the classes time is 9 to 10 basically in the night, right? And yeah, so if you are interested in this boot camp, right? Okay, then you can fill up your information and one of our team member will reach out to you within 48 hours as well. Yes. Right. So that's all, guys, from my side. If you want to learn more about data science in general, I have my Medium page also, right, where I write about study abroad as well as data science. So you can find tons of blogs or tons of articles on my Medium, okay, regarding both data science as well as study abroad. And this is my YouTube channel also. On my YouTube channel, I, covered. So I told you about Airbnb. I told you about, like this New York Times and what was the another one? Airbnb, New York Times, and American Express, right? You can find tons of case studies there. You can find almost 50 plus case studies on that YouTube channel. It's called Data Wizard. Okay. And it's Data Wizard. So I will share with you. So you can find multiple case studies there. Yeah. It's actually called Data Fox. It's called Data Fox, okay, but it's like handle is Data Wizard underscore AJ, right? So you can find tons of videos on this channel, tons of case studies in the data science domain, right? So yeah, about this, like how data science is being used in the food industry, automotive industry, climate change, right? Okay, infrastructure, disaster management, fraud prevention, travel also, right? Okay, so HR analytics, politics also, right? Okay, so many places basically how data science is being used. You can check on the channel as well. And you can connect me on LinkedIn. If you have any questions, you can connect me on LinkedIn as well. So that's all, guys, from my side. And if you have any questions, we can have a short 10-15 minutes Q&A as well.
Okay, so if anyone has any doubts or any questions, you can raise your hand or put them in the chat box. Yeah, let's go with Mr. Shri Harshu. Mr. Shri Harsha Maridu, please go on with the question.
Yeah, please unmute yourself and please feel free to ask questions. Yeah, Shri Harsha, Mr. Shri Harsha. Guys, any questions?
No, actually, you're not audible. You can put your question in the chat box also.
हाँ यार, कोई क्वेश्चन ही नहीं है। दैट मीन्स बेसिकली या तो आप लोगों को कुछ भी समझ में नहीं आया, सब कुछ समझ में आ गया।
Guys, you can unmute and ask your questions. Okay, sir. So I had a question. I'll ask you that first. So what is the difference between data science and data analytics, and which one has a more scope and better career prospects?
So, see, the thing is, I think the biggest difference that I would tell about data analytics and data science is, see, if you don't have domain knowledge, right, okay, then your career will be more towards data analytics, right, okay. But that doesn't mean you cannot become a data scientist. Why? Let's suppose after graduation you are joining an e-commerce company, right? Okay. Then initially you will become a data analyst, right? But then over the period of time you will learn a lot about that industry, right? 4, 5 years, 6 years, right? You will know everything about that industry. Then you can become a data scientist for e-commerce industry, right? So data scientists are more towards basically a specific industry, and data analysts are more, towards a specific, generalized, basically general. They just basically focus more on the data crunching. Yeah.
So there are some questions in the chat box you can see.
Okay, just a minute. Actually, I cannot see any question in the chat box.
Okay, I'll read them. I'll read them out to you.
Okay.
So Mr. Harsha asks, Sir, could you please describe more about domain knowledge step of data science? That is, what topics should be learned and from which resources?
About what actually?
Or data science.
See, again, Mr. Harsha, the problem is data science is a very vast domain, right? Okay. And as I mentioned earlier, right? Okay, you have to start somewhere, right? And the best place to start is, Power BI or Tableau, right? R and Python are more kind of like a more towards programming, right? But Tableau and Power BI is basically non-programming. It's more like not doesn't require that programming that much, right? Okay, very very basic programming, just like we do in Excel, right? So it's a big daddy of Excel like that, correct? So I would suggest that you can start from there, right? There are tons of resources on online, right? I'm not saying okay there are no resources. There are tons of resources, but the problem is then you need a structured approach, right? Okay, and then you need to have a project also. You need to have a certificate also at the end, right? So you can basically find any courses online as well.
Okay, so there are more questions. It would be great if you could unmute and ask your questions. Mr. Rishu Jaiswal asks, Sir, could you suggest 3 project topics for us to include on our resume for placement purposes in the field of data science?
Good question. I will share the list of 3 projects that you guys can do, right? Okay, like yeah, I will share it with with the career center only, right? Okay, and then you can share those 3 projects internally.
Okay, so Mr. Harshad also asked if there are any free bootcamp programs, free of cost.
Yeah, so see, there are a lot of resources online, right? Okay, correct. I mean, so you can always go there. But see, the thing is like, why this is not free? Let me tell you one thing, right? Because this course, okay, this certificate which you will be getting, it's a paid certificate, right? Okay. So Microsoft is actually collecting this money, right? Okay. It's not going to my pocket. Actually, it's going to Microsoft pocket, right? Okay. And I'm not representing Microsoft here, right? Okay. Why I'm sharing this? Because it has helped me in my career, okay? And let's suppose tomorrow if you go for a job or placement, right? Okay, or internships, correct? If people see that you have this certificate, right? There are very, very high chances, of getting a job or internships, right? And good job and internships, right? Okay. Because it's a benchmark, right? Okay. And it's a proctor test, right? Okay. There will be a proctor who will be watching you online, right? Okay. करेक्ट ऐसा नहीं है कि टीम्स में सब लोगों ने कॉपी कर लिया और सर्टिफिकेट मिल गया ऐसा नहीं होता है इसके अंदर इट्स अ प्रॉपर एग्जाम जैसे अपन ने जेई में एग्जाम दिया ना मतलब ऐसा राइट ओके जैसे प्रॉपर एग्जाम होता है ठीक है देयर विल बी अ प्रॉक्टर एंड दैट्स व्हाई देयर इज अ कॉस्ट एक्चुअली या
तो अजय मुलगर रजाज सर आप आईआईटी बॉम्बे से ग्रेजुएशन के बाद फर्दर स्टडीज के लिए अब्रॉड गए उसके रिलेटेड इंफॉर्मेशन लाइक हाउ यू गेट फुल फंडिंग एंड सिलेक्टेड योर यूनिवर्सिटी
yeah that's a big topic okay see because I got full funding because my profile was good right number one. That's the reason, I got full funding, right? Okay. There are various, tips and tricks to get full funding also. What you can do is basically you can connect me over LinkedIn. And, Ashka, if there are more people interested in this topic actually, right? How to get full funding, right? We can have another session actually, right? So I think it would be better if you can have a, follow-up conversation or follow-up email or communication to these people, right? Okay. There I will talk only about the study abroad in that case. Right, okay. So if there are more people interested, if there are only one or two people interested are there, right? Okay, then I will basically connect with them personally. Okay.
Okay, sir. Mr. Aryan Naresh has asked, how can a person have a smooth transition from SDE to data science domain?
SDE to data science domain. As I mentioned, right, earlier that if you are in SD, right, that doesn't mean you cannot become a data scientist, right? All you need to do is you need to have a good domain knowledge. Just a minute, actually, I'm having a call. Yeah. So what you can do is basically you can like get a particular domain knowledge, right? So either some of the examples can be you can go into trading, you can go into e-commerce, you can go into logistics, right? Okay, correct. I mean, and the good thing is basically you must be having programming knowledge, right? So as I mentioned earlier, if you have domain knowledge and if you are a data scientist and if you have SQL in programming language, that is more kind of like a cherry on the top. It's not going to harm you, it's going to help you only, right? So that's how you can do a smooth transition actually.
We had also previously floated a Google form which had a few questions, so I'll take up a few common questions from that.
Sure.
And by that time, if anyone else has any questions, you can put them in the chat box also. So yeah, so how to start learning data science and data analytics from scratch, and what are all the important points you should keep in mind? What sources should one follow? So
that I think we have already covered.
yeah. How important is understanding the business domain when working as a data scientist?
That also we covered, right? Business domain, domain knowledge.
Yeah. Another question is, ML important for data science?
Not actually. See, let me
Okay.
tell you one important thing. देखो guys, machine learning बहुत बोलते हैं, AI खूब बोलते हैं, but I'm telling you, hardly maybe only 20 companies are using AI, effectively in India. क्योंकि AI के लिए क्या होता है ना guys, बहुत बड़ा infrastructure चाहिए रहता है, बहुत बड़ी computational power चाहिए रहती है. You must have heard about this Ola वाले जो अभी कृत्रिम लॉन्च किया इन्होंने, right? कृत्रिम लॉन्च करने के बाद में इन्होंने अपने सर्वर्स वगैरह यहाँ पर इंस्टॉल किए. क्यों किए? क्योंकि उसके लिए काफी computational power लगती है, ठीक है? So the problem is, even if some companies are trying to implement AI, right, you need a lot of computational power, you need a lot of like you need a lot of GPUs as well, right? काफी ज्यादा costly है AI. तो इंडियन कंपनीज की तो बहुत ही कम इंडियन कंपनीज की बस की बात है एक्चुअली, टू बी ऑनेस्ट, राइट? So when Ola also said, yeah, they have launched Krutim, and they are also shifting from, I think earlier they were on AWS or something like that, right? They were shifting to their own cloud. It was a very, very big deal. It was a mind blowing actually, right? क्योंकि इतना कंप्यूटेशनल पावर नहीं होता यार इंडियन कंपनीज के पास में, बहुत एक्सपेंसिव होता है ये सब करना। तो जब अपन बोलते हैं मशीन लर्निंग जरूरी है, नॉट नेसेसरली, टू बी ऑनेस्ट। हार्डली, एक चीज बताओ, मैं 100 में से कोई एक या दो डेटा साइंटिस्ट होते होंगे जो मशीन लर्निंग यूज करते होंगे, ठीक है? और वो भी जो बड़ी बड़ी कंपनीज होती है ना, मतलब अमेजोन, इन सब के अंदर, राइट? नॉट इन लाइक मीडियम साइज कंपनीज और स्मॉल कंपनीज। मैंने क्या बोला, एट द एंड ऑफ द डे आपका जो मैनेजर है, आपका जो सीईओ, उसको मशीन लर्निंग से कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता तुम मशीन लर्निंग यूज करते हो नहीं करते, उसको एट द एंड ऑफ द डे रिजल्ट चाहिए, राइट? रिजल्ट कैसे मिलेंगे? जब आप कंपनी के रेवेन्यू इंक्रीज करने की बात करोगे, या प्रोसेस इंप्रूव करने की बात करोगे, राइट? ओके, या कॉस्ट कट डाउन करने की बात करोगे, इन सब में जस्ट तुम केवल रैंडम लॉजिक लगा रहे हो, रैंडम मशीन लर्निंग लगा रहे हो, ठीक है, डेटा ट्रेन कर रहे हो, nobody cares about that, to be honest. You will be laid off, you will be fired within few months, trust me.
Right. Then how do you stay updated with the latest advancements and trends in data science?
Good question, right? Yeah, so you just have to read more and more, right? You just need to be a part of communities, right? Okay, there are multiple blogs basically. See, I will tell you, right? Okay, I've been using Power BI since 2017, right? Okay, जब लोगों ने इंडस्ट्री के अंदर सुना ही नहीं था, when Power BI was launched, since that time I'm using Power BI, right? Okay, and I can say I come, in top 100 people across the world in Power BI. When it comes to Power BI, I can count myself, among top 100 people in the entire world, right? But आज भी क्या होता है, आज भी मैं Power BI के blog को जाता हूँ, उस पर सीखता हूँ. There are like constant updates are there, right? Okay, because there is a big team in Microsoft, right? That those are basically creating some advancements, right? Okay, अब वो कैसे सीखेंगे? You need to be a part of communities. You need to learn, go to blogs, read those and all those basically. तो वही है मतलब.
Then another question is, when is a person industry ready? Which end-to-end projects should we do to get to know that?
Yeah, so see, industry ready to see, that's what I'm saying, right? Okay, see, the biggest problem is getting the projects, right? That's the reason I said, right, once you have a boot camp, right, I'm sure there will be a lot of companies basically who will be willing to take you on at least some unpaid projects, right? Okay, or internships, paid internships also, or unpaid internships, right? But they will know that, okay, since you have this certificate, right, okay, then they can trust you. Then they can trust you that you have skill sets, the tools basically. And once you do some unpaid projects, and once you do some internships, I'm sure you will have a lot of good career, you will have a good career in front of you. अब वही बात है ना कहीं तो स्टार्ट करना पड़ता है, राइट? ओके, तो स्टार्टिंग के स्टेप्स ही है. सी टुडे my topic was also how to build your career, or how to start your career in data science without programming, right? Okay, correct. डेटा साइंस तो बहुत बड़ा फील्ड है, करेक्ट? आई मीन इट्स अ वास्ट फील्ड, बट द होल आइडिया वाज बेसिकली हाउ टू स्टार्ट, करेक्ट? आई मीन वही सबसे बड़ा प्रॉब्लम रहता है. एक बार गाड़ी स्टार्ट हो गई फिर तो चलनी है, फिर तो दिक्कत कहाँ पर? इंजन तो स्टार्ट हो कम से कम. तो द होल आइडिया इज बेसिकली टू स्टार्ट द इंजन, राइट? आई मीन.
So I think we're done with most of the common questions. And if anyone has any more questions, you can connect with Sir on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
So honestly, sir, this was a very insightful session, and I'm confident that it has greatly helped our audience to better understand this field. So on behalf of the Career Council and all our participants, I would like to extend a heartfelt thank you for your invaluable insights and expertise. And your guidance has been incredibly enlightening, and we appreciate your time and effort for making this session a success. So I will be sharing a link in the chat box right now. You can go through it. It is basically a feedback form link and the link for the DADS bootcamp. So you can go through it once. I hope, yeah. And before we end the session, I would like everyone to just turn on their camera so we can have a screenshot of the session and like basically a memory for the session.
Yeah, absolutely. I would love that as well.
Guys, please turn your cameras on. Okay.
बहुत कम लोगों ने किया है कैमरा।
Okay. I think we're done with the screenshot.
Sure.
Yeah. So on this note, I would like to sign off and thank you everyone for joining the session. And you've been a great audience, genuinely. Thank you so much. You can leave now.
Thank you everyone. Thank you everyone. Great audience. Nice. Bye bye.
Thank you, sir.